Right. Thank you all for joining this lesson. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who subscribed to Get Simplified channel. And then again, I'm pleading with you to also subscribe to this channel, Sirantwi Education. Both are being run concurrently by Sirantwi. And then materials be posted here and then that side also. So those of you who assisted me by subscribing to Sirantwi channel, please, you can also do same here and click on the subscribe button for me. Thank you. Now, today we are going to discuss or go into details um, the question paper that was set by me the last time we did question 3. So today we are going to continue with our question 4. Right. So question 4 is also spreadsheet. The previous lesson was about question 3 spreadsheet also. So today we are continuing with question 4, and then from there we go to database. When we are done with all these questions, we will pick other set of questions as well and then discuss. So please let me know if you can hear my voice and then see my screen as well. Right. The link for this data file has also been shared with you. If you don't have it, I can as well share again. I can send the link also there again. So I have past grade 12 papers, which contains all the files. So I'm going to share them as well. So I will begin with question 4. That 4 fishing stats. Right. It says make the following changes to the first row. Merge and center cells A1 to F1. So we are dealing with 4 fishing stats, and then we work from the stat worksheet. So this is the stat worksheet. Now the question says we should merge and center from A1 to F1. So you select A1 to F1, you right click, and then you can go to format cells, or alternatively, you can see merge and center from the alignment group. Then the second question says add light green shading to the merge cells. So we need to add shading to this merge cell. Now, we can also right click and choose format cells, or alternatively, you can go to search and then you say shading, or you can say format cells. You see fill color, or you can just right click format cells and then you see fill. That's the shading. Now it says light green shading to the merge cell. So we choose the light green colors. Now I want to take the opportunity to also explain further other aspects that you must look out for. The pattern style. They can ask you to choose a pattern color and a pattern style. Again, you can also be asked to change the gradient fill, which is the fill effect, and then you see gradient with 2 colors, whereby you can combine 2 colors as well. And then they can ask you to the shading style, whether diagonal down or diagonal up. So watch out for that. But then for this question, it only asks us to change it to a light green shading. And then 4.2, set rows 1 and 2 to remain in place so that when a user scrolls up or down, rows 1 and 2 remain in place and do not move. And this one we call it freeze pane. In that instant, the row 1 and 2 should always remain on top when you scroll down. So in order to achieve that, you move to the next row, which is row 3. So it means that if, let's say, they ask you to freeze or lock row 1 to 5, meaning you go to row 6. So here we go to the third row, and then you can get freeze pane. You can use the search and search for freeze pane. Now you go to freeze pane, and then you select freeze pane. Not freeze top rows, because this one is only going to freeze the top row, and this one is also going to freeze the first column. So here you choose freeze pane, so that when you scroll down, starting from row 3 will move. So meaning you have locked row 1 and 2. So that is how freeze pane work. Right. Now let's move to the next question. Use an Excel, sometimes they can say spreadsheet feature, to remove all duplicate entry in column A. That's the surname. Now we want to remove all the duplicate from column A. So this is the column A, and want to remove the duplicate. You can get it from the data file or the data tab, but at the same time, you can also use the search tool in examination. Now we have data validation. You also have remove duplicate, or under the data tools, remove duplicate. And we have flash fill. Then we also have data model and consolidate. But what they normally ask about is the text to column, and then also data validation and the remove duplicate. So here we want to remove duplicate. Then you expand selection. That means it will remove for each, not continue with the selection area based on the question. So remove the duplicate. All right, all the merge cells need to be the same size. So now, because we had some merge cells, so we need to do that. But now, so now if I want to do that, unless maybe you select this, only these ones, and then remove duplicate from data file or the data tab. Then we are removing duplicate only for column A, which is the same name. Right. So basically that's how we do to remove the duplicate, because we got only one Africa and then the province. These Africa surnames are not the same, because this is Africa G and Africa NC. So they are not duplicate. So we got one duplicate that was removed. Right. Then we move to the next question. Insert a function in J4 to calculate the average number of phishing incidents reported in the Gauteng province. That's column B. So here we are talking about the average number of incidents. That's column C, whereby it was reported in Gauteng province, which is G. Now, because we are dealing with average, then we need to use average if, because this is average with a condition, just like the sum if and the sum ifs and then the count if and count ifs. So we can use average ifs or you can use average if. You will still get the same answer. Right. So you press equal sign, average. So like I said, we can use average if or average ifs. Average if is any number of criteria, and then average if is only one criteria or criterion. So here we can use average if because it's only one criteria. And then you click on FX. So the range, you look for where you can find a province called Gauteng. So you select, and then the criteria is G. Then the average range, the fishing incident. Right, so we got 14,83. So average if is similar to count if or sum if. You follow the same process. Right, the next question. Use an appropriate function in cell J5 to calculate the second highest number of incidents. So here we are talking about the second highest number of incidents. So we have to use what we call large. So equal sign, large. Then you click on FX. The array is like a range, so you need to select the fishing incident. And then K will be 2. That means when you arrange them from the biggest to the smallest, the second one or the one in the second position, that's K equals to 2. Right. So we got 20. Now we move to the next question. Use the time taken in minutes to report fishing incident stored in column F. Write a formula or function in column G3 that assigns a recognition level based on the following criteria. So the criteria is given to you. So the criteria is given to you. The first criteria says display gold if the time is 20 minutes or less. The second one, display silver if the time is between 21 and 40. And then display bronze if the time is between 41 and 50. Then display none if the time is more than 50 minutes. So you've been given the criteria here. When it's from 0 to 20, we display gold. When it is from 21 to 40, we display silver. When it is 41 to 50, we display bronze. And then the message none is displayed when it is more than 50. So we are going to put the formula here. According to the question, we have to place it in G3. Now, when you are doing this type of if statement, which is the nested if, we can start from the highest to the smallest, or from the smallest to the highest. So let's start with the highest to the smallest. Equal sign if, double click on FX. So the logical text, the first one, will be the time to report, which is column F. When F3 is greater than 50, value if true will be none. Then where it says value if false, you go to the next if statement. So you type if and then you open bracket. Now, as soon as you open bracket, go to the formula bar and check. You can see over there, there's bracket open and close for the second if. So we are done with the first if, the first condition and criteria. So we are going to the second one. So you go and click inside that bracket open and close. As soon as you click, this function argument is going to change for the second one. So we repeat, that's the time, but this time F3 should be greater than 40. Why am I saying so? In this situation, you use the starting value. Don't use where it is ending. So here we use the starting value throughout. So it should be greater than 40 because it's starting from 41. Or you can say greater or equals to 41. And then the value if true, we put the message bronze. Then the value if false, for that one, you repeat the same steps. If you open bracket, again, go to the formula bar, click inside it, then you repeat F3. This time, because it's starting from 21 to 40, we say F3 greater than 20. Then the value if true will be silver. And as soon as you are done here, you don't have to go here and say if greater than or equal to 0. The last condition, you put the statement, you don't repeat the next if. So the last condition will be gold. And then you click OK. It's going to prompt you to close the bracket. You just say yes, and then it will close for you. Right. So basically, this is how we do this type of nested if. When you have so many conditions, and then you are referring to one column. Right. Now let's move to the next question. There is also another if statement whereby in that situation, you can be comparing two columns. Let's say we are comparing two columns. Let's say that question was about this. You displayed gold when the time is less than or equals to 20. That's the time. And then also uh, the phishing incident. Phishing incident is less than, let's say the phishing incident is less than 10. So because here we have n, that means two conditions must be met before you display gold. All other conditions, we say none. For all conditions. This type of question, because there are two conditions that needs to be met before we display gold, then we have to use different approach. So in that situation, we're going to use it like this. Equal sign if. Now, the logical text, we repeat the first condition. F3 should be less than or equals to 20. Now the value if true, you cannot say gold because there's another condition that needs to be met. So in this situation, you put another if statement inside the value if true, not value if false. And then you go to the formula bar, click inside it. Then you click on the incident condition. It's less than 10. So because we have two conditions, the first one, the F3 should be less than or equal to 20, and the C3 should be less than 10. Now these two conditions are there. Then we can put the value if true as gold. Otherwise, we put none. But we are not done yet. When you are done here, go back to the first if. Click just after the first if. You will see that the value if false, there's nothing there. So we repeat none. Because the question says all other conditions should be none. What does it mean here? It means that when both conditions are false, it should be none. When at least one condition is true, then it should also be none. Then you click OK. So here we have, let's check again. This one is less than or equal to 20, and this is 10. Then we put gold, otherwise none. So now the gold one, let's check why it's given hashtag NA. The C3, yeah, C3 they were taken as general. I think it should be right. If F3 is less than or equals to 20, this one. Oh yeah, here that none should have inverted comma. Good. That none should have been inverted comma. So all the conditions were not met. Now, that means if this one should be less than 10. So let's say I put here to be 9. Okay, and then this one should be 9 or 8. Then we get gold because C3 is 8, which is less than 10, and then F3 is also less than 20, then we get gold. Right. So basically, this situation, the first if, when you go to vel if true, you don't put a condition, you open another if statement, and then you follow the same approach. Right. Now, from this question, I will pause before I move on to the last question. Sorry for my numbering system. I think I corrected it. This should be 4.7. That is the graph. Let me check if there's any question before I proceed. Right, don't forget if you have any question, you can type it in the comment section and then I will address that as well. Now let's use the chart worksheet. Now the question says we must create a graph. So we create a graph, you select, and then we use the column chart or 3D. Now, there's a column chart. Fill the chart area with a for safe browsing poster. So this is the chart area. Then you must right click and choose fill with a picture, and then you browse from file. All right. I don't see that picture. I think I will check it to select, let's say, picture, then it will be filled in. Then the next question, set the gap between the columns to 100% and position the data labels above each column and reverse the axis order. Now, these are the labels here. So you click on it. Now you see the chart design and then you see the format. From the format, you can click on this where you say the style. When you go to the format, you go to the style, or you see the format exists. You can also use the format exit style to get there. Now, when you go to format exit, so either you go to format and then you click here to choose the exit, or you right click and then you see format exits. Now you see category in reverse order. That means they have changed it. As you can see, your password was the first, now it becomes the last one. Right. Then you move to the labels. Now, the label position should be above, that is high. So the label position will be on top here, which is high. Great. And then they can even ask you to also change the numbers. That's this one. You can be changing this one. When you click on this X here, that's display unit. They can ask you to change it to 100. Right. And then the last part is the gap. That's this one. When you click on the series is going to give a series option, and then the gap should be 100%. According to the question, set a gap between the columns. That is the width to be 100%. They can even ask you to also change it to cone, still the same. You can change it to full cone. And then you can also fill with vary color by point. That's to have different colors. So watch out for this, how to manipulate these series options and then exit options. Right. So now let's move straight to the database. If there's any question you may ask, if there's no question, we can move straight to database. I will keep on checking whether there's any question. Right, we move straight to question number 5, the database. Now the first question says, we must import the CSV file, 5 teams import, into a new table called TBL users, and the no primary key is needed. Right, so here we open a database called 5 registered teams. Right, and then we are going to import that CSV file. So to import, you can go to external data, and then this is import and this is export. Now we are importing CSV file is mostly text file. You can also import from Excel. So if it's CSV file, you choose text file. And now you are importing to a new table. So we take the first one. You can even have a question whereby they want you to add to another table, existing table, then you choose append a copy. So here we are creating a new one. Then you browse. And then okay. Then you take the first row with the field names. They say shouldn't have any primary key. Right here, the text file specification field separator matches a decimal separator or a text delimiter. So here, the problem, I think the problem might be the data file. Because when you get here, it should get you access to import. Let me go and check the file once more. Okay, this one. Let me save this one as a CSV. Like here, comma delimiter, there are different versions of CSV. So if it's not compatible, it's always going to give a problem. So I think let me choose this one. Or let me choose the other one. All right. So I'm going to edit or start all over. New data source from file, text file. It's already open. Yeah, let me close it. From file, text file. So comma, no primary key. All right. So the original file was having a problem. I will send it again, the new file, so that you will not have problem in importing. Right. So this is the file we are talking about. I forgot to choose the headings. Let me do again. I was supposed to choose the heading. So new source from file, text file, first row with no primary key. All right. So here is it. Now I have all of them with the field names as the heading. Right. Now let's move to the next question. Now it says we should name the table as TBL users. So we have to change the name TBL underscore users. Then we should open it in design view. Change the field size for cell name field to 50. So this is TBL users. We right click and open it in design view. Now the field size for the cell name, according to the question, we should change it to 50. And then we set the date of birth field so that it may not be left empty. So the DOB, when you see the question that says it will not be left empty, it means required must be set to yes. When you see this type of question, may not be left empty, required should be set to yes. Now, set the type field to get its value from the TBL type and display it as combo box. Now we have the type field. We want it to be a combo box that will pick the value from TBL type. There are two ways of achieving this. But if you are linking to a table, the best way is to use the properties. You go to lookup and then display control. You change it from text box to combo box. Then you are going to see row source type, which is a table because we are picking from this table. And then the row source, you select the table name, which is TBL type. So very simple. You choose the display control to combo box, row source type, table or query, and then the row source, you select the name of the table. Right, the next question, modify the experience level field to accept ratings only from 1 to 10. Set the default value to 1. Now the experience level, the default value should be 1. We type 1. And then the validation rule. Since we know the start number and then where it is ending, we can use between. Um, we can make use of between. So just like the date, if we know the start value or the start date and then the end date, we use between. So between 1 and 10. That means from 1 to 10. So if it's date, you say between. Let's say for date for 2025, between 01/01 2025 and 31st December 2025. So this is what we use when you are dealing with validation rule. If you know the start value or the start date and where they are ending. So here we need to type between 1 and 10. And if they ask for validation text, you must mention the name of the field first. So you can say experience level should be from 1 to 10. Or only experience level from 1 to 10 are allowed. You just write it like that. Don't repeat the word between. Then 5.2.5, insert an input mask for VID. Fail to accept the following: 2 compulsory capital letters, 2 letters or digits, and then 3 optional digits. Please take note of the input mask, the basic one you must know. The input mark sheet, the basic one, always refer to the input mark sheet given to you. So as you can see, let's remind ourselves from the question paper. 2 compulsory capital letters. Because of the capital letter, we use greater than. Greater than is uppercase. And 2 compulsory capital letter, we use 2L. That is compulsory letters. Followed by 2 letters or digits, we use capital A. When you use capital A, it means letter or digit required. If you use small a, letter or digit optional. You must know this. Don't forget to go and then refer to it. And then lastly, 3 optional digits. Optional digits are 9, so 3, 9. So that's the validation rule. The input mask, which should be greater than 2L, 2A, and then 3, 9. This 9 here is optional digit. This 2A here represents 2 letter or digit, and then this one represents 2 composite letters. and then this greater than represent a capital letters. Right. Now, because here they didn't say whether it's capital or small, the one that says letter or digit, we have to be very careful. So it's better we put a less than. Why are we saying so? Because what if they type a letter? That means it will also be uppercase, but the question didn't talk about uppercase. So you can put a less than to convert it to lowercase as well. Right, now we move straight to 5.3, that we should open the form FRM5_2 based on the TBL, and then we put the following information. So there's a form given to us. You right click and choose design view. Now change the heading, the header text to user information. So this one we change it to user information. If you like, you can stretch it. Change the header section color to any color, any light color. So this is the header section, and this is the detail section, and that's the footer section. So the header section, it says we might change it to any color. You right click and you see fill or back color, light color. So any color outside the default one, you might change it. Insert a button in the header to navigate forward one record at a time. So we have to put an action button here. From the form design, you'll see various controls. We will see the AB, which is the text box, capital A, small a, which is a label, and then the next one is the action button. So you click on it and then you draw it. Now, because this question is talking about navigate forward one record, so it is record navigation. If they are talking about the form operation, like the close form, open form, and print form, you choose that one. If they are talking about the record operations, printing a report, and others. Now, here we choose record navigation, and the question says to move to the next record. So we go to, you click on go to next record. We can choose a text or we can choose a picture. Right, now the next question, insert a calculator field in the footer section that will display the message yes if the experience level is more than 5. Otherwise, no should be displayed. So this is an if statement. An if statement that should be placed. Now, how do we do these calculations in the form? Remember, they can ask you to do calculations in a table, to do calculations in a form, to do calculations in query, and again, do calculations in report. So I'm going to go back and do the calculation in the report. Let's see where the question says we must put the calculation. Report footer. So we have to open a space here. And whenever you are doing calculations, we have to use a text box. We treat it as a field. So we choose a text box and then you draw it. Now where it says unbound, this is a label and this is unbound. That is where we must put the function. Now how do we do that? You right click and then you see build event. Then you choose expression builder, double click. And this is familiar even when you are doing queries or you are doing report or you are doing a table. You will find expression builder. So this is where we are going to do the calculation. This is if statement. So if statement, you start typing is double IF in database. So if the experience level, be careful here, it's not the level, it's the field that we are using for the calculation. Now, those of you using lower version like 2016 and others, if you want to go it normal way, whereby you put the field before the operator, you might get it, you are going to get an error message. So now the question is saying that um, experience level is more than 5. So whenever the experience level is more than 5, then it should be yes. Otherwise, so you can say when five is less than or equals to experience level. You double click on experience level, then comma. We display the word no. That is in opposite. No in inverted comma. Otherwise, yes. Then you close the bracket. You see, it means that when the experience level 5 is less than or equal to experience level, that means when the experience level is greater than or equal to 5, then it should be no. Otherwise, yes. Now, you will not see it here. You must, for a form, you must always copy it. So your formula must be copied. Control C, Control V. Don't forget to check whether there's equal sign. If there's no equal sign, you must put equal sign there. There we go. So we have our formula there. I want to show you the reason why I chose the other way and I didn't go the normal way, because most of you are using the lower version at your various schools, so you might get it wrong. If I go the normal way, if the experience level is greater than 5, comma, yes. Otherwise, no. This is very easy. Like we know in spreadsheet, the field or the cell before the operator and then the number. Now I copy this. It's saying that you may have entered an operand without an operator just because of the position. Those who are using lower version, if you encounter this, it means you need to change the position to give you the error message. So we needed to change that one. Right. So that's all about the if statement. It's very complicated in some of the office, but this is how you must approach it. Right. I'll go back to my comments if there's any question. If there's no question, I'll proceed. Right. Now, I'll move straight to the query. It says create a query QRY5 underscore 4. That's based on TBL users. Display all users who have an experience level of 8 or belong to gold user type. So we create and then we choose query design based on TBL users. And then we need the surname. The question is display only the first name. Oh no, that's the one we are doing. All those with experience level of 8 or belong to gold type. So we will need experience level and then a type. That means we don't need a surname. Now, as soon as you select them, run and check. So here we have experience and then the type. So experience level, we need 8. and then the type should be gold. So the criteria will be 8, but the type gold, we can use wildcard by saying G star. That G asterisk, that may begin with letter G, or we can say star G star, that means contains letter G. We got 3. Create a query QRY 5 underscore 5 based on the TBL users. Create a calculated field called month extract that will extract the month from date of birth. Display only the first name, the last name, and then the DOB. So here we need to create a query design, and then the question, we must display the first name, last, and then DOB. So the name, the surname, and then DOB. And we must calculate called month extract to extract the month from the date of birth. So we go to an empty space, you right click and choose build so that we come to the expression builder. Now, month extract, we use the function called month of the DOB. So we go to the 5 registered team database and then the table, TBL users, then we can find the DOB. And then OK. Now we have our formula. When you run it, you'll see ESPR1. Now we need to change that ESPR1 into what we call month extract. And then now they are looking for those who were born in December. So the criteria will be 12. So that we need only 12. And it should be criteria for the month extract, not the DOB. Or somebody can just say between the 1st of December 20 or the 1st of December and then the last, but there are different Decembers there. So it's better you put a criteria under the month extract. Right, the next question. Modify the query 5 underscore 6 to calculate the total experience level for each type with less than 100 years combined. So this one, you right click, design view. Now, because of the keyword here for each, we have to use aggregate function. So you activate the totals and then the group by under the experience level. We select sum. Why do we select sum? Because the question says total experience level. So here we have the total, what is the sum of the experience level. We have this. Now, the question says the experience level total should be less than 100 years. So here the criteria, we say less than 100. Right. Then the last part of the database is the report. Open the RPT 5 underscore 8, sort it according to name. So we right click and then choose design view. Now, if you don't see add a group or sort, you can tell me what to do and then you type sort. That's group and sort. You will see it here. Or alternatively, from the report design, you see group and sort. And then you say you must sort according to name. Now, the next one says, use a feature to fill all the experience level of more than 5 to light green. So experience level, not the one under the header. This one, which is a field. Now, when you click on it, conditional formatting, you will get it under format. Then you see conditional formatting. And then you go to new rule, field value is less than 5. And then you fill it with a light green. You click on apply. Now you won't see it here unless you open it in the report view. So all those with less than 5, you will see them. And the last part, calculate and display the total experience per country in the country footer. Change the level to total experience. That means because they say per country, meaning we have to group also according to country. So add group. Do we have country here? Let me check. Um, TBL users. Yeah, it doesn't have the country, so that's a mistake. Let's say I'm doing by the type. It doesn't have a country, so I will use it by type. So I have to group by type, and then you go to more. So where you see with no totals, you choose count records or count values, and then you select subtotal in group footer. So you are going to see here count per the group footer, and you must put a label called total experience. You go to report design and then you select the label and then you draw it. So they can type total experience. Right. So they are going to group them by the type and then they'll find the total experience per each. So basically this is how it's supposed to be. That's all about database, the calculation. Now, let's go straight to question 7 and then we look at another spreadsheet. So our next meeting within the week, we are going to complete it with HTML and then the Microsoft Word questions. Now I move to question 7.2. It says we must open 7 digital safety stats. Now, insert a function in cell C2 to calculate the end session of an online safety training that lasts 6 hours and 20 minutes from the starting time. 6 hours and 20 minutes. So here we can use the building block. If there's no building block, you can use building block. You can create some for yourself. And then you use different functions to extract this time. So I'm going to use the hour function, the hour of the start time. Press enter, you get it. And equal sign, the minute. You click on the start time, you press enter. And the second, equal sign second of the start time. Now, when you have all this, we can now put our function here. Remember the question says 6 hours and 20 minutes. So meaning we are touching this one and we are touching that one. So we can go again in the building block and then you say equal sign. This value here plus 6. That means we are adding 6 hours to that hour that we have. So now we have our new hour. And then equal sign, the minute here, plus 20. Because the question said 20 minutes. Then we can use the time function to determine the end time. Equal sign, time. You click on FX. Now we have the hour. Now our new hour, you click on it. The minute, your new minute. And then the second, we didn't touch the second, so we choose the same second. Then click OK. So that is our new end time. So if I drag down, so if I change this time to, let's say, 11, it's going to give us the new end time. Right. So basically, that's how we use the time and date function when you have a complex calculation like that. Solve them step by step by using the hour, the minute, and then the second to extract. Then how many hours are added, you add it. How many minutes are added, and then how many seconds are added. Then after that, you use the time function to determine it. Right. So basically, this is how these questions needed to be solved. Now, if there's no question, I'll end the lesson here. Um, the memo will be sent later. But then, if you have any question, don't forget to put it in our WhatsApp group or under this video, and then I'll answer everybody. Tomorrow, we will have another session to complete the Microsoft Word, and I will share the link again. Thank you for your precious time. Good night.